Hello, guys. This is the Chicago Bears Perspective podcast. This is where you're going to get my perspective, and you can share your perspective in the comments. Like it or hate it, it is what it is. We all are going to view things totally different. But today, I'm going to talk about what I saw being at the Chicago Bears Tennessee Titans game this past Sunday. Now, this was my first NFL live game experience. And wow, it was so cool. And I bought seats like at the 50-yard line, but I bought them in the upper sections, and they were such great seats. And yeah, I could have bought closer, but at the same time, it's preseason, and as a Bears fan, there's so many new faces that I was really, really excited for this game. And I live about an hour south of Nashville. So I'll be making vlogs on this channel to coincide with my podcast. I'm going to try to throw all my podcast up in a playlist. I highly recommend watching the first episode of the podcast to kind of give you an idea of where we're going to go, what the future of this channel is going to be. I have a few more podcasts. This might be episode 3 or episode 4. But as we go on, they're going to get better as I get adjusted to the technology part of it. I've got different cameras and stuff, and like I said, today or within this next week, I plan on posting a vlog of my experience going to the game and what I saw, and going from there with it. So right out of the gate, I gotta say that it's preseason, so for me, just because the scoreboard reflected a win, losing Cameron Meredith, in my opinion, we lost the game. When you lose a player like that, it's never a good thing, and gosh, we needed him. So instead of dwelling on the negative, the positive is we have a bunch of receivers, and I know Gentry has been talked about a lot, and this kind of opens the door for us to use Gentry. Now, I'm not a college guy. I don't know a lot about college football, so I don't know where this guy's background is, but at the end of the day, it really don't matter, because how many first-round picks come in and they fail? If I had $1 for every time that some guy that didn't make big waves. I mean, even Terrell Owens came from a very small school here in Tennessee. He didn't come from the Vols. So this will open up the doors to Gentry. So what I'm going to do is find out who the remaining free agent wide receivers are. And so let's talk about the wide receiver core right off the bat. Kendall Wright looked great, but I knew he was going to play really good against the Titans. And also, guys, to me, this wasn't a win or loss. You have so many key position battles right now that these guys, I knew we were going to win. I foresaw us winning 26-27 to 14-ish. I knew it would be that big of a spread, so 19-7, I knew it was going to be that. Glennon's having to play to win. You have so many people that are having to play to start. Right now, what I'm trying to do is see what current free agent wide receivers are. But okay, I'll tell you the guy that has just really disappointed me as far as wide receivers go. Victor Cruz. I know that he's been seeing a lot of action when Trubisky's playing. He's that veteran presence, and there was a play where it was like 3rd and 12, and Trubisky scrambled. By the way, when Trubisky has time in the pocket, he was like 5 for 6 with a touchdown after so many seconds. I think it was like 3 seconds. So the guy is very, very dangerous when it comes to him having time. So when he scrambles, though, and then all of a sudden you throw the ball and a guy like Victor Cruz, it hits him right in the numbers and he drops it. It was just very frustrating for me personally as a Bears fan, and to know we got a veteran like that dropping a pass like that killed the drive. So wide receiver wise, losing Cameron Meredith was a big deal. I don't know how updated this list is, so I'm going to name off some guys that are available in the free agency pool. Now, there's one name that jumps off that I'm like, yeah, a lot of people are going to be like, well, Anquan Boldin, yeah, he just retired, okay, but he is available, okay. In my opinion, if we have another wide receiver injury and we're thinking about starting Trubisky, which I don't feel we should for a couple more weeks, I want this guy to come in with a full grasp of the game plan, with a full grasp of who he's going to be throwing to, and right now I just think it's too soon. The guy couldn't take snaps from center just a few weeks ago. So just let's get him reps. Let's get him. I like seeing him play with the ones, and I hope we can continue to do that next week. So Anquan Boldin, Greg Jennings, Marquise Colston, Stevie Johnson, Jacoby Ford, Hakeem Nicks, Dwayne Bowe, James Jones, Greg Little, Miles Austin, Eddie Royal, Marquise Wilson. Like I said, I don't know anything about, as far as these guys, if they're too old, whatever, but they are there. And those are just the names jumping off. There's a couple more, but those are the bigger names. Wide receiver number 2, Brian Hartline, Roddy White. Dorial Green Beckham. Those are the names I'm seeing right now that, if things were to happen and we were to lose another wide receiver, that's what our free agency market looks like. We just need reliable hands if Trubisky's going to come in and start. Notable mention, Zach Miller made a really good play fighting for the ball, which he always looks good. It's always an injury issue with him. Our defense looked really good, and a name that kept popping up, or at least being in the right places for me, was Quentin Demps. Wow. To know what it's like to have a strong safety that is aware and knows how to be in the right spots. I'm really excited about him and Eddie Jackson. But also I want to throw some kudos to Mike Glennon to be at the 5-yard line, drive that ball downfield like he did. I will tell you there was a couple of plays where the wide receiver, he could have had a big bomb too, just like Trubisky had with Gentry. He was looking more to the right side. One of the things that I always judge a quarterback on, and Cutler was real bad about it, was eyeing the receivers down. I think you're going to see Glennon get better as the cobwebs kind of get off of him. You got to keep in mind, this guy's under big scrutiny. He's got all eyes on him. And yeah, he's got to put up or shut up. But I'll give him a couple of weeks pass. I'll give him, hey, he's got to get back into that rep. He's got to get back into that blocking everything out. And Trubisky should look good. He was the number 2 overall pick. He's got to look good. Regardless of what anybody says, he is our guy of the future, unless Glennon can come in this year and just totally... What do you think? How many touchdowns, interceptions would it take for Glennon to start next year? 25-12? Here's what I worry about with the Bears is we have a history of just seeing decent quarterback play, but we're bought in on somebody else, so we just ignore them. And say what you want. Go look at the tape. When we had Josh McCown with our players in that system, he was right in it. 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I remember this long, deep pass that he threw to Alshon Jeffrey in the end zone that was just right in the perfect spot. He had perfect ball placement for those receivers. You can't expect anybody to go to the Cleveland Browns and look good. There was obviously coaching issues, wide receiver issues, everything, every type of issue that there can be. There was a stat yesterday I saw on Jay Cutler that talked about when he had a line how good he was. And when he didn't have a line, he suffered. When you're in the NFL, though, how many teams have a great line? I bet there's less great overall lines than there are total of great quarterbacks. So to me, I don't care if you could stand there 5 seconds and then make the right decision. I'd rather have somebody competent within 2 or 3 seconds, and that's Cutler's issue. If you feel it's different, post your comments in the comment section. Prove why. Prove why I'm wrong. Even against the Eagles, Cutler's third throw was almost picked off already. Guys, it is what it is, but right now I am just very happy to see where we are with Glenn and Trubisky, and I'm real happy overall with their team. I love Vic Fangio. I love what I saw Sunday, even though I only take it with a grain of salt because it is preseason, and if you watch the press conference with Glennon, they had to do things different to look that way. They had to practice throughout the week different. I'm not big on Fox. Guys, my expectations this year is if we win 7 games, wow. If we win 9 games, maybe we should keep Fox. But if we win 2 or 3 and Fox is still here next year, God, I'd much rather have I'd love to just solidify Vic Fangio. This is the best defense that we've had in a long time, and it's because of his looks, his mind, and him being able to get the players that he needs to be successful. So hopefully we can have a offensive-minded coach come in to go along with Fangio. Guys, we lose Fangio. Mark my words. Our defense is going to suffer depending on who it is that we get next. But who are you going to get? Look how many couple of years there we suffered and no defensive coach wanted to come our way. So we get Vic Fangio from the 49ers where they had a really good defense. Now we have that look and that type of defense, which we haven't had since the Urlacher years. But, the game, other than Cameron Meredith getting injured, which was a bum, which I'm shocked he didn't get injured on the first play that he had caught the ball. He had caught the ball and it dragged his body into the ground. His neck looked really weird to me, and I was like, ooh. So, I don't know if I jinxed this or not, but it was just a few plays later is when he got injured. And I was like, yeah, he's probably injured from that first catch and just didn't feel it till this one. But no, it wound up being a knee injury, unfortunately. But, guys, we look good on every aspect of the game. Our defense can play top notch, if our running backs can play top notch, if our special teams can play top notch, then we're talking about the kind of football that the Bears used to play just a decade ago, when we didn't have competent quarterbacks. And I was a Grossman fan. I don't really see much of a difference between Grossman and Cutler, but we've had just bad quarterback play. Now we're looking at having at least a decent quarterback play. We're going from a D level, going to get us in trouble quarterback play, to a little bit more safer, a little bit more, hey, we're going to at least throw 3 or 4 yards. We're at least going to get into field goal position. And I think that's where we are as a team right now. And I think if our running backs, which Cohen and Howard, as far as that 1-2 punch goes, wow. And once Long gets back into that lineup, guys, our offensive line's going to be good. But I think we're one of the few teams where I don't think we have a lot of A-listers, kind of like, some other teams out there. But we have depth in so many positions. We're still that B and C type team. Well, but we're B and C within our depth. It ain't like what I saw with the Titans yesterday. They had A-listers and B-listers in their starting, but once their depth came in, you're talking about a huge drop-off. But that's a lot of teams. So we're very fortunate as a football team to have the depth that we have, but also where we lack, and we're lacking the A's, we need everybody to be healthy. And to go into this season already without Cameron Meredith, it's like, what's going to happen whenever one or two other receivers get hurt? You know, Wheaton was out with a broke finger, which a finger's a big deal. I can't remember which finger it was that was broke. Might have been the pinky, but that's a big deal. If Wright goes out, then what do we have? We got a bunch of, once you start getting past your Gentrys and a couple of other guys, you got a lot of guys that have a lot of potential, but they drop the balls like crazy. Last year, there's so many drop touchdowns. It just killed me because it knocked us out of games. We could have won 5 games last year instead of 3. So let me know what you think. Like I said, if you guys are interested in podcasting, if you do this while you go to work or long drives, right now this is just an audio podcast. To me, a visual on my other podcasts don't matter. I listen to the Bears Brothers. I think there's only a couple of Bears podcasts anyway, and that's what I'm trying to do, is do this. I don't know any of those guys, but I try to support them, and I just like to hear football, so I hear what they say, but I also have my own little spin, and I'll do mine on different days. I don't have a set schedule on this stuff yet. I'm just rolling out this stuff on my channel. So leave comments. Let me know what you think. What was your perspective? Who looked good to you? What do you think's going to happen? Who do you think our next coach should be? What do you think of Vic Fangio? Do you feel like I feel about Vic Fangio being our head coach? Going back to that defense guy that's never had the shot, but look what he's done. He's a unique guy. I was also a big fan of bringing in a Josh McDaniels. But now that we have Trubisky, I don't know if I would bring in Josh McDaniels, because Josh McDaniels, I was looking at as, hey, if we go after Garoppolo, if Josh McDaniels is high on him, then hey, we got a coach quarterback coming to Chicago. And I think McDaniels being older now and wiser would just be great. And he's the anti-Cutler, and I love that. And he's fiery, and he comes from a pedigree of coaches. And I just really, really enjoy that. But now that we have a guy like Trubisky, who should the guy be? I'm not really big on John Gruden, but if we have this defense like this, John Gruden's older, he's been working with quarterbacks, that's interesting to me. I'm not big on Sean Payton, but a Sean Payton with a defense and a defensive coach interests me. Gosh, what I would give for Jim Harbaugh to come into things. So what do you think, guys? Do you disagree with anything I've said? Check out the first video. It'll give you a glimpse on what I want to do moving forward. I will have video stuff and visual stuff on here eventually, so just kind of bear with me. This is going to be audio right now, and like I said, I'll drive or be in certain places in my life, just pop in my headphones, and I'm listening to all these Bears podcasts, which is, like I said, there's only a handful. I'll listen to those podcasts and kind of go on my day, and that's kind of what I want to do with this. So, guys, let me know what you think. Subscribe, like. I plan on doing this weekly. They'll be posted on Sundays or Mondays. And I look forward to doing this more. I look forward to having guests on. I look forward to finding people that think different than me, that may have an outlook a certain way. I'm all about that life. So this is the Chicago Bears perspective, podcast perspective. It's my perspective. What's your perspective? Post in a comment. Thanks, guys.